185milessouth.com.
Smash that Patreon button.
185 Miles South, a hardcore punk rock podcast. What's up, everyone? It is episode 185 from us, 185milessouth.com. We are recording live from a Costa Rican jungle. Thank you for the Patreon money, people, and helping out. You know him, you love him. It is the best dressed man on the pod. Well, on other days, but today still Dan looking dapper. It's Daniel Sant.
Okay, for everyone out there, I'm wearing Stone Island shorts, Mob Deep t-shirt, and some Pata Air Max 1s. I'll let you be the judge. That is still the best dressed man on the pod.
Yeah, I mean, compared to us, I guess, but compared to society, probably not. Ben, it is also Ben Merlis, a.k.a. Ben Edge, a.k.a. Bedge. What's up, Ben?
What's going on?
And rounding us out, holding us down, you know who it is. It's episode 1. It is the legend. Don't get it twisted, anyone else on the 805. There's only one. It's Joe Rivas. What's up, Joe?
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, man. So for this special episode, we all got together, and we're doing this live, so I hope you guys appreciate it. There is some background noise, obviously, because Costa Rica is a beautiful place, and there's lots of animals around. We saw a sloth earlier. It was sick. I gave it a cigarette. It liked it. And, yeah, Dan, how we doing? Happy 185.
Happy 185, everyone. This is my first time recording and hanging out with Joe, the legend Joe Rivas. And he's a lot taller than I thought.
We should say this. So this is wild. So in 95 or 96, Stalag 13, or actually just Stalag then. Stalag, coming off the hit record with Bailey. They played with Ignite at the Showcase Theater in Corona, and someone took a photo, and Joe Rivas and Dan are like 3 people from each other, but they've never met until today. How about that?
Yeah, and what's even crazier is Ben's cousin Jesse is also in the picture.
That's right. And that was his first punk show ever, and I was also at that show.
Well, because you know it was an Ignite show, Ben had to be on the stage ceiling. So he was back balancing the ball on his nose and a few other things in the background.
Ceiling. And we're about at the 20-year anniversary of him getting bitch slapped at Posse Numbers 2002.
Who did?
Jesse, for talking shit on the internet.
Oh, no.
Okay, so let's kick this off, guys. Sorry to bring that down.
Wait, you got to give us some backstory.
No,
I don't know this.
We'll save that one for the Patreon.
All
right.
Zach always bringing it to the Nard level.
All right, so we're going to talk some music on this pod. We're also going to do a bunch of your questions you submitted a couple weeks ago. We are recording this on Sunday, July 17th, and we should say we're not in Costa Rica. We're in El Cajon, California, in Bert DeLast's backyard, one of the co-dudes from Safe Inside Records. So, Bert, shout out for letting us use your backyard. Much appreciated.
Mega shout out to Bert.
And the chickens.
And you know what's crazy is I'm down here running the Super 7 store for Comic-Con, and it is all Cobra themed, so it all ties back to Bert anyway.
Dude, did you know there's a quail in there? No.
I do now.
More fun facts about the birds. Okay, so let's jump into the music. We'll rotate back and forth, I think, between the music and the questions is the way to do it. I hope you guys did your homework. Ben and Joe, you had 2 hours in the car together. Hope you listened to everything 6 times. But yeah, so we're going to talk about this demo. It is, let me go to it. The band is Echo Chamber. It's called Demo 2002. Echo Chamber, Demo 2002. It is on Bandcamp. It's also on Spotify. So
you're 20 years off. It's Demo 2022.
Demo 2022. Sorry, I'm in that COVID long fog, and nothing is working right, guys. Yeah, Dan, what did you think about this?
I think it's sick. Really hard NYHC vibes. the recording has that just enough of that like reverb that enhances this era of like NYHC what they're going for. So that recording process that they went through that adds the reverb and the general sound that they're going for to sound like a band from that certain era is really cool. What I would say is some of the shorter songs, like when they would end, I was thinking that they were going to just go build into like another breakdown, but then it rolled into the next song. So it's actually cool that they keep you guessing a bit. It's just great hardcore, you know. What was that?
I would crunch this bottle. I muted myself like I normally would, but I forgot I got 3 other live mics.
We're out of... This is our first in-person pod since, what, two and a bit years ago?
Yeah, a while. I can't remember the last time I came. Well, okay, so it was right when Terror and Dead Heat did that last show right before COVID, Joe.
Yeah.
So I think it was January of 2020.
Yeah.
January 2020.
Just before the shutdown, yeah.
Right before it, yeah, for sure. This demo, the recording is spectacular.
Yes.
It sounds so perfect. The drums, the guitar, the bass might be a little low, but it sounds sick. I do think maybe the vocals are mixed a little low. I like to listen to this thing a lot. I listened to it a few times. It bangs. It's like a record where it sounds great, like playing it loud. And I wish like every band that was trying to sound like this recorded with that engineer in that studio at that time of day with those instruments, et cetera, because it sounds perfect. The only thing I say is I listened to this a handful of times and nothing grabbed me. So I don't know if that's like a symptom of the vocals being mixed a little low, that like the vocals aren't out front and there's nothing grabbing me like personality wise. So that's all. It's just a banging recording, but nothing really stood out to me too much. So
well, I think the thing that grabbed me the most is that the recording enhances the era of NYHC they're trying to go for, or that they are going for. But then like a couple of the shorter songs, like On This Side of Death, like they would grab me because, like I said, I was expecting it to roll into another part and it just ended, and it was like, oh, it left me wanting more, which, you know, is a good and a bad thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
no, I think like that's what you want from a demo. You definitely want people wanting more, right? But yeah, I don't mean to be negative in that way, because I did really enjoy listening to the thing. I would just say, you know,
Room for improvement.
I just try to get some hooks, you know, like it's, if you think about like guitar and song, it's like there's so much emphasis put on like the music, and like people are thinking about how to write songs and shit. And dude, writing lyrics is really hard. And sometimes you're just trying to write stuff that's like, you know, good lyrics, you know, or stuff that isn't silly or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to like balance that, and you're writing to someone else's music, and you're trying to like write something catchy with a hook. So very, very hard. That's why, like, you know, we blow the smoke up of asses of bands on this pod that we think are great, because writing great hardcore is very hard. Writing hardcore as good as this demo is very hard. Like, this is really good, competent hardcore. I'm just saying, yeah, nothing like jumped off the page of me. Ben, let's go to you.
Yeah, the opening trumpets made me think of, I got New Direction, Gorilla Biscuits New Direction vibes on that one, and a little bit of Mighty Mouse cartoon vibes as well. But maybe that's because I was watching the New Adventures of Mighty Mouse on YouTube recently and realizing how psychotic that cartoon was. All that is said is very outbursty. It's what I call Where the Wild Things Are core. That's my shorthand. Of course, that's not short at all. That's many syllables for that style of music. And then Escape from Freedom is breakdowny, Where the Wild Things Are core. And then the quote at the end of the song where you hear the person say, sane and insane can easily switch places. Of course, that is Julie Carmen as Linda Stiles from the 1994 film In the Mouth of Madness. How do I know that? Because I Googled it. I've never heard of that movie before in my life.
Dude, Ben, that's the last great John Carpenter movie.
Is it?
It's really good, dude. You'd like it. It's about an author.
Sam Neill is in it.
Yeah.
Being really wild.
Dude, it's good. It's like legit one of my favorite movies.
there's a disproportionate amount of movies about authors because who writes screenplays? Writers. So going on this side of death, I thought that had a cool 2-step part. I was going back to Zack's glossary of hardcore terminology, and I thought, this is too fast for breakdown. This is Zack 2-step territory here.
That's what's up.
Yep. And then the vocals are kind of that monotone, shouty style. That also goes back to that kind of era of NYHC that they're doing. It has a little bit of that trapped in a cave reverb, but not too much. I think the singer is inside more of a grotto, maybe the Playboy Mansion grotto. And then, so like to sum it up, I'd say Echo Chamber is like that basic moshy class of 89 sounding NYHC stuff that once again proves my theory that Breakdown is the most influential hardcore band of all time.
What is that noise?
Somebody's phone.
That might have been my phone right next to the thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Weird. Yeah, all these technical difficulties again, because now we just... Dude, I wish I would have known you could do a podcast just through fucking Zoom. Could have saved my money on buying 4 Pro mics and a board. You know what I mean? And then
but when we get to Costa Rica, what are we going to do?
Right? Yeah.
I am not hauling this shit down there. You know? But if I do, Rivas is invited, so someone can help me set up, huh? Yeah, Ben, that was a good take. Joe, what is your take on this?
I was going to ask, is this actually a German band or is it just a label?
It's a German band.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
Busky
Yeah.
hit me to it.
Yeah. I loved it. That first song has that chant on the going out. I love that. The end of the song, Escape from Freedom, has a cool like dropout guitar thing. And then everybody comes back in, but only for 2 notes, like a dun. And I thought that was rad. Like you said about the recording, it was really good. I did like the vocals. I thought that they were at the right level, but maybe it's just his voice that's not cutting through for you. And I know what you're saying about the hooks or slightly lack of hooks. The music is prepared for them, but the vocals just don't deliver that piece of it, I think. But for a demo, it's pretty rad.
Great demo. And the great thing about it is, you know, one thing that we always acknowledge, they're singing in another language.
Yeah.
And to pull that off is just fantastic
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
I had no idea they were from outside of the United States until right now. So
now Ben doesn't like it anymore.
No,
If you look at his top 100 lists.
They just
No
got bumped.
continental European stuff is allowed to be on.
actually, I was gonna reference back to my top 100 list. Another German band who is doing New York hardcore better than anyone in this country, True Blue.
Yes, shout out. So friend of the pod.
PK.
That's right. That's right. Okay, let's go on to the next. And this is another demo, I believe. Oh, hell yeah. Major Pain demo 2022, correct? I got to go to the album here.
Yeah, 2022.
Yep. Demo 22, the band Major Pain. This is a SoCal band, I think OC area. Dude, this guy's voice is like great. Holy shit, right? It's like, it sounds very similar to like Killing Time, where it's just like, holy shit, the dude has like a naturally great voice. What do you think, Dan?
When I first heard it, I didn't connect with the voice as well until the second listen, and then I really started to grow on me big time. It has a really growly thing without going into Cookie Monster territory. It has aggression without being someone who's overdoing it. Everything is just in the pocket.
Right, because he's not like yelling or making a voice. Like, it just sounds like his natural ass voice. Like, very similar to how, you know, you listen to Raw Deal or Killing Time Brightside, and it's like, damn, this guy is just kind of like talking loud, but it sounds sick as fuck. And it's like, this guy is like very similar. Like, what a gift.
Yeah, I wonder if he recorded the vocals with Bowling Shirt and Trilby on to try and nail that Killing Time vibe.
Right.
What's sick about this is that the music is, I mean, it's it's a little bit more hate breedy than the echo chamber we just talked about, but it is still coming from that same direction of really hard East Coast influenced 80s and early 90s hardcore. But it flows really well. Like the demo is just the right length to really make you want something more, but at the same time, you're not like you want more, but you're satisfied at the end of it. I think it's a really good demo. I think the songs are varied enough to really present what this band can do, and I'd really dug it.
All right, no one making noise because the birds shut up for 1 second. Let's enjoy the silence.
They got in a fight right now.
Depeche Mode.
It's a birdemic. Yeah, it's very like Where the Wild Things Are mashed up with like modern, moshier hardcore, like
Hatebreed influence.
Yeah, not unsimilar to like some of the stuff we've reviewed on here, right? Like Abrasion or the By All Means or stuff like that, or what we're going to talk about a little later, that Click. So yeah, it's like the modern Where the Wild Things Are mixed with modern moshcore. They don't keep the songs aren't too long. Again, I love the voice. The recording's good. This is like about as good as like a demo can be, in my opinion. Ben, what's your take?
Yeah, the first thing that springs to mind is Steph Curry doing practice drills, because the kick drum sounds like a basketball being furiously dribbled on a hardwood floor. It's like, but in a very controlled manner. Like this guy's really good at dribbling. I get the 90s metallic hardcore feel to it, and I thought to myself, maybe this sounds like Marauder, but maybe I think that because Major Payne has a cartoon character holding a samurai sword on the cover. And then I went and I listened to Marauder for as long as it took me to figure out, no, this actually does sound a little bit like Marauder. It's not just the samurai sword cartoon character. So I think whereas Echo Chamber was more like 89 style NYHC, this is like going 6 years into the future, or into the future, not from where we're looking at it right now, but this is more mid 90s New York. But this isn't my lane, so I'm going to defer to the experts. Do you think more Hatebreed, more Marauder, kind of a combination? What do you think?
I think that was the right call. Like thinking about Marauder as being like blueprint for this stuff. It's still New York hardcore coming out of like, who's Marauder influenced by? They're influenced by that Where the Wild Things Are stuff, right? Like the wild men of New York, And then this is kind of modern era if you want to map it from Breakdown to Marauder to Major Payne. What's up?
Yeah, well, I also love the fact that I wish I could have seen that like 3 minutes that Ben was torturing himself listening to Marauder. Like, I think it's the same, but I can't take any more.
It was closer to 30 seconds, but yeah, it was painful.
Joe, what's your take on this?
The intro and first song just come out swinging. I love that. That's a great feel. I love how raw the recording sounds. As compared to the other ones that we listened to, it sounds a little bit more stripped down. Not bad in any way. It just sounds less produced, I guess. I don't know what the hell I'm trying to say, but it kept me interested throughout. I want more of it. So that's what you want out of a demo, right? So.
Yeah, and hell yeah, the other thing I like is every song is explicit. What's up?
Yeah.
I want every song to have that that caution warning.
I couldn't find
please.
lyrics for this, so
Okay.
So I only picked up on a few words here and there, but hopefully it's not all.
Well, Spotify picked up on the F word.
Okay, good.
The artwork's cool. It's got like a crazy like Minotaur / like full on well, not even NYHC, because it was just 90s hardcore tagger like pictures, and then shout out to Damon Wayans, because if you haven't seen Major Payne, you really should, because that's a classic.
After you watch Don't Be a Menace to Society while drinking your juice in the hood.
South Central.
Oh, that's right. Okay, let's talk this last one, and then we'll do some questions, and we'll come back to talking about the music. The next one is this EP. It was a listener suggestion, and the band is called Run Into the Sun. It is the song Love and then the song Pain. It's a single. I don't know if it's only digital, if it's coming out, what's going on. But Dan, what's your take on this? Is this one of the first bands in a post Turnstile glow up world?
Yeah, I think it's channeling. I mean, just naturally channel. I don't know if they're actively going for this, but also has a bit of that no pressure vibe as well. So it's got like post Turnstile glow, post no pressure release, but it's channeling that 90s almost alt hardcore, like with the using lots of overdrive and guitar effects and having whooshing upswings in the music, with very clean but aggressive vocals, like, so it's got a touch of melody to the vocals, but they're being sang aggressively, so it's got a lot of that. I don't want to channel Deftones as an influence because it's not doing that kind of singy stripper metal-y thing, as Zack would call it. It's doing more of those bands that would sign to like a Rev or sign to even be on like the Sessions, like samplers and things like that, where it's like you'd find them on surf and skate videos, like the way the vocals are. I'm just saying it's channeling that era of music.
Dan thinks they sound like Sprung Monkey.
No, but I do have a funny Sprung Monkey story at some point. But yeah, this is really cool. I do like when people think conceptually about a recording. So they've got one song called Love, they've got one song called Pain. It almost reminds me of Radio Raheem's Rings, but that's Love and Hate. So it would be even cooler if it was Love Hate with the two songs. But I liked it. I don't think it's right in my wheelhouse, but I enjoyed it. I do like the big gang vocal on the like Pain is also known as Barracuda because they shout out Barracuda, and I totally got Heart vibes on it when that happens, but there's a giant gang vocal that goes Barracuda, and I was like, oh, sick. It's like Heart. And then at Scolari's office in town here in San Diego, there used to be karaoke there, and invariably these two drunk girls would get up every week and do Barracuda by Heart, and there's a part on the karaoke version that is 24 measures of just music. So you just stood there waiting for that solo to finish, and it's really annoying. But this isn't annoying. That's my review. This is good.
Yeah, the singer is like one of those like really skilled people. He does like all the rain shit, like da ba da da ba da da. Like he thinks about how he's singing. I don't like this at all, though. Like, I mean, it's 2 songs, so right on, and they sound like a skilled band, and they sound like they're going to be really popular. But I don't know, like melodic music that has like big breakdowns has always been like stripper metal's the worst, but then like that was like my second like least favorite. Like the early 2000s when bands would have like nice sounding verses and choruses that sounded really safe and clean, and then they'd have the big mosh part, and it's like this doesn't make any sense together, like I just want to listen to Marauder or Youth Today.
That's what I was trying to explain, is that it's not quite that, and it's not quite hardcore, but it's that weird thing that was in between around that time period that was very prevalent. Like your Shifts and your like, even though I liked Shift, don't get me wrong, but the bands that were post Shift,
Still Suit.
yes, things like that. Yeah, definitely things like that, where it was just like, it's just a little bit too in between everything to really latch onto one thing that I love. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, Ben, what's your take on this?
Yeah, the singer of this band does not sound like a scary monster, so I'm already giving it a little bit more credit than the previous 2 bands we talked about. Not that it's competition. The song Love, totally I get Turnstile vibes from. It's like that slow post-hardcore thing where you have a lot of like shout yelling about how all we need is love. And maybe a little bit more of the Turnstile record before the new one, which I can't think of the name of it right now. It's yellow and it has the bass player stage diving on the cover of it. That sort of, I don't, it's not like Turnstile clone band, but it does definitely sound like oh, this was created in a world where people listen to Turnstile, and I am waiting for that sort of tidal wave of bands that really do sound like fake Turnstile to start happening, because you got to figure they're the biggest band that came out of the world of hardcore right now, like by far, by like an exponential factor. So there's got to be like kids who like that's their gateway, and then that's what they're gonna do when they pick up instruments and start playing. The song Pain Barracuda, it starts off super fast and then it goes into this like churning mosh part. And I was hoping it was a cover of Barracuda by Heart, which by the way has like this sick galloping guitar riff, and it's got those like harmonics with the tremolo bar that totally, like when I listen to Barracuda by Heart, I think of Victor Cara in Inside Out. Like, oh, that's the hardcore version of what Heart was doing.
We should all sing it together. It's that iconic. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, it's sick, and so I kind of wanted that, but they don't do that. But you know, these songs are over before you know it, and the idea that one song is love and one song is pain, and how we've lived with concept albums since before we were born. That's kind of an advent of the '60s, Sgt. Pepper, etc.
That shit is deep, dog. Like I was thinking about it the other night, and I was like, oh man, what if the next record is happy and sad, man?
Well, this is a concept single. So can you think of another concept single? Maybe I could if I thought about it hard enough.
Dude,
but anyway.
What if one is fire and water, man?
Ice.
Oh, fire and ice. Shout out DYS.
Oh, also shout out Uniform Choice, because
right.
Staring into the Sun, Run into the Sun, pretty close.
Yeah.
I like the band name. Good band names are hard to come by.
It's true.
Spicy Vacation.
There you go.
Joe, what's your take on this?
I did like you guys talked about his voice. I really dug that he has that control where he can go from that talk shout kind of thing into the scream.
Yeah.
A lot of people try to do that, and a lot of people suck at it, myself included. Mm-hmm. But this guy does it really good. So I enjoyed that. The songs were okay. It was cool, I guess. It was recorded well.
He does seem like a singer that's going to excel with a cordless mic.
Yeah.
He's going to excel. Ben, did I cut you off? Did you have more on that?
That's all I had.
Okay. All right. I should have been queuing up the questions. So, Dan, why don't you tell your funny Sprung Monkey story, which is crazy because all my Sprung Monkey stories are very sad and serious.
Well, I don't. Now I'm on the spot. Okay, so Sprung Monkey were nominated for a San Diego Music Award, and so were Swindle. And Nick, the drummer of Swindle, was loudly by the microphone announcing the nominees. And when Sprung Monkey was announced as a nominee of an award, Nick just loudly, not knowing that he was going to be on mic, went, "Get him out of here!" And it went loud as fuck all around the place, and most of the amphitheater laughed at Sprung Monkey. So that's pretty cool. Also, the old drummer, old bass player Pat Kim, who went on to play bass in other San Diego legends, Unwritten Law, once. So Don was trying to get into PB Music Trader once, and the key was about to break in the lock, and he's like, "Don't touch it anymore." And I was like, "Oh, I can do this." And I turned it and snapped the key in the lock. And then that guy, Pat, was there, and he goes, "Fucking way to go, Forrest Gump." And just blasted me. And so I'm double anti-Sprung Monkey and anti-Unwritten Law.
Hell yeah. Okay. This first question's a great one, and let's read it here. President Jack Tunney has announced a 30-man battle royal a la Powerhouse's Pandemonium record. Respect to any Powerhouse shout-out. He also offered each of you a chance to choose someone from punk or hardcore to enter this battle royal. What pit lord are you choosing to throw brutes like Hercules Hernandez and the Warlord over the top rope? All right, I'm taking him first so no one can take him. I'm going prime Aaron Cooley, all the way fucking pumped up. Are you going to take Dave Kennedy? It's gonna get rough when it comes. It's gonna be like Demolition coming out, and it's like Axe and Smash,
one and
two, and they gotta lay into each other, and it's like ooh. But yeah, I think I'm going Prime Aaron Cooley over Dave Kennedy, but that's a rough one. Only because Dave Kennedy's a little taller, and this is a battle royal scenario. He
could get clotheslined over the top rope easily with
true.
that height. For those people that don't know that are listening, Aaron Cooley is the drummer. I mean, the guitar player of Over My Dead Body, the drummer of Built to Last, notorious muscle man.
Yeah. Yeah. So nice guy. I wouldn't call him a brute because he might rip my head off my neck. But what are you doing? Dan, your choice.
I'm going Kev 1, Bulldoze.
Yeah.
I'm going that low center of gravity, that absolute psychopathic look in the eye, and the scariness that of the reputation will have you jumping over the top rope before he gets his hands on you.
Shout out to the 185 intro. His Bulldoze, fool. Ben, what's your take?
As sad and pathetic as this is, I've thought about this for many years. I really have. I thought you put everyone who is ever involved in hardcore in a ring. Obviously, it would have to be a very large ring, and who would be the last person standing? And it's John Macias from Circle One, 6'4", buff.
What you gonna do?
Completely fucking insane. Threw a security guard over the Santa Monica Pier and then ran from the cops and they killed him. But like, just the most terrifying person from every account of hardcore dude ever. And I feel safer. I feel safer in a world without him, although the way he passed was, not absolutely unjustifiable.
Yeah, if you talk to old hardcore dudes about John Macias, it sounds terrifying. Like, there'd be a pit, you'd be on the edge of the pit, and he would just go up to people and decide if he was going to fucking maim you or not. And I can't remember who I was talking to. It might have been Matt Domino from Infest, and he's like, yep, he went up to me, he gave me the okay, and then, like, the guy next to me got maimed.
Horrible. And Daniel Weitzman, the guy I wrote the 1.5 article with, who was a writer for Flipside magazine in the early 80s, gave the Circle One LP a negative review and had to go into hiding because he feared for his life. So he doesn't have very fond memories of Circle One.
And he also killed a dog, so that fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's
Allegedly.
Yep. Shout out to animals, especially these birds. Hey, Joe, what's your take?
I'm going to say just like fighting like prowess. I'm going to go with Pete Kohler. Sick of it all. Because Pete's
tough.
2 New York picks.
Yeah.
2 New York, a San Diego, and an LA Ripper.
Downey.
Although I don't know enough about him, but the singer of Cold Hard Truth, the some stories I've heard of that beatdown band from the UK, the singer of that sounds like he'd be a really good alternate, running into the ring and destroying people.
Yeah, young Big Bob, too. From Aggression,
there you go.
yeah.
Yeah, he fucking took a gun off someone at gunpoint.
Straight no fear, dude. You think he's scared of the fucking warlord or Hercules Hernandez? He said Hercules can keep his chain.
Do you know what, though? The genius is going to win that through sheer mind power.
That's true. The genius has a scheme. He's going to win.
Yeah.
Okay. Same person asked if we could do a UFO segment on replacing Ryan Fredette on In Control another year.
That's a good question.
Yeah, that would be hard for me because I curated Ryan. Like, I was like, here's the thing. People talk about this a lot. If you're looking to get a singer in your band, like, get someone that moshes and stage dives really well. That translates to being a frontman, right? Like, or you got to have like some crazy charisma, like Aaron from Death Threat. Like, that dude can like stand still and still command like the room. Like, all the eyes go on him, right? He's got that much like low key charisma. It's so ill. But like, I chose Ryan because we went to every show we could, and he like moshed and stage dove to every band, and I was like, this is perfect. He's a writer. I know he's not going to quit my band, and we chose him. So, fuck, I don't know who I'd replace him with, dude. I have no idea. Let me think last. Dan, what's your take?
Oh, I was just listening to your story, so I haven't been thinking about it. Let's go to Joe.
Joe, who you subbing in for Ryan?
I mean, got to be from the Nard?
That can be from anywhere, right? Any time frame, right?
Wild man like Ryan. I mean,
Let's get closer to the mic.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, he's a crazy wild man. Because Ryan is nuts.
Right.
I have an answer.
Okay.
If you guys want even more time to think.
Yeah.
Zack Oxnard.
No way, because I'm the opposite. I don't move that much.
Well, you're the singer of Retaliate.
I know, but like Ryan has a nice voice of, like I have like an angry Homer Simpson voice, right? Ryan has a more like, it's not like super nice to the ear, but it's like a little better. How about like if Ben Edge like drank for 2 years straight and like dabbled in a little bit of coke, you know? Maybe Ben, he's got the voice for it. Oh, and he'd have to do some steroids and 200 push-ups a day.
Well, Ben, we just did This Is Your Life to Ben, and we went through the thing, and
I hope that's aired.
yeah, 184.5. So it's
That's right.
right before this.
Yeah.
And Ben definitely has the chops to like bring something to that. But Ben's answer of You is good too, because you know you sing on, you know, Fuel. Oh God,
Fuel the Fire.
Fuel the Fire, yeah, and a couple other jammers, and so you're sharing the vocal duties anyway. But my answer would be HR, because when Ryan goes into that like parts, you know, where he goes, he almost is ahead of like how the music's going with his like mania. I think HR would be super good, and then just think about HR on the more melodic songs and stuff. It would be so rad. So
Yeah, Ryan never did a backflip, you know, so HR one up him there. But how about this? I'm going Dan Sant, you know? What if we had a DD? That would have been sick.
that's right. I would be like, shit, I gotta drive again.
Well, we did all the long drives because that one tour that we had, Adam Lentz, I think it was him. I can't remember. But like me and Ryan do like the long hauls. But then, yeah, if we were in a town and we went drinking, then like I'd trust someone to drive for 10 minutes home.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. But those long drives, what I used to do on tour when it was my turn after a show and I was, you know, a little bit of a baby. I get sleepy really fast. So what we'd do is like we stop by one of those Flying J truck stops and I'd get a bunch of ice in a napkin and I'd put it under my baseball hat. So the cold dripping down my back would keep me awake.
Wow.
You know, it totally worked, but yeah.
Sunflower seeds, dude.
Also, I know most IC jams with a couple practices, so I could definitely, because I love the band, so there's no problem there.
Here was my technique of staying awake. It was still miserable. You hold a ball of some sort in your hand and you extend your arm and you just keep the ball in your hand, and if you start dropping the ball, you know you're out of it. So it keeps you awake.
World's strongest man.
It's horrible.
I know. Nah, sunflower seeds does it. Like that's the move. Just eat some sunflower seeds, you'll be all right. But yeah, that's another thing I didn't think of. Like Ryan, when we had to do the overnight drives, he was the man, and he would do good, and he'd wake me up around like 4 a.m. So he'd do like midnight to 4 or midnight to 5. I'd get up real early and do like 5 to 10. You know, so like we had a good partnership of that where we'd be kind of fucked if we didn't have a night driver, right? Because I can wake up as early as possible. Those drives were so easy just because, you know, you wake up, the first hour is easy, right? Then I'd like pull off, get like a McDonald's coffee or something that gives you another hour, and then it's like, damn, I'm almost halfway there, you know?
I do love that shift of driving as the sun's coming up.
Oh, yes.
It gives you like almost like a boost when the sun starts coming up and you're like, okay. But the one right after loading the van and you're leaving a city and it's an overnight drive, that's fucked.
And you got 14 hours to go.
Yeah.
To the next town.
Yes, that's not good.
I can't think of his name.
The name of the person who should sing the In Control.
Describe him, we'll play a game.
What band did he sing?
Capra was a guitarist.
The singer of Holier Than Thou?
Yeah.
DR. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Passed away a year or two ago.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
DR.
That guy was good. He was a little crazy, but he didn't move.
No?
He was like very static on the stage. Well, because he sang a million words a minute. like.
Well, maybe he would have because he was more spaced out. And,
That's true. That's true.
So
He
maybe
would've
he would
been
have the
singing-
opportunity to move around.
He'd have been
a little
singing
bit
that shit
more.
out
But he had a lot of energy.
That's true.
He'd also be in a band with Zack, who would yell at him after the show for not moving if that was the case. So, the next show he would be moving.
Capra's like, whatever. I don't care.
Yeah. Okay. Question for Dan and Ben, mostly because of their egregious lists. What are the best European hardcore records of the 80s and 90s in your opinion?
What did we have on our list? That's
Nothing.
the answer.
0.
That's not true. I had True Blue on the 90s list.
Okay, you had 1. Good
No,
job, dude.
I had Tiebreak on the 90s
Eyeball.
list. That's what you gave me.
Right. You're right. We did better on the 90s, right? 'Cause so the 80s, I had Raw Power, Screams from the Gutter.
And you're obviously talking mainland Europe because I had a ton of UK, which
Yeah,
is in Europe.
Let's go mainland and take out UK. That's its own animal, and UK has a ton of stuff.
Yeah. For me, it's a bit of a blind spot. Like, what's the something pasty?
Anti. No,
Yeah.
that's UK.
Yeah. All right. So, yeah, it is a bit of a blind spot in the 80s for me. Raw Power is the obvious one.
Indigesti? Was that what you're thinking of? The Italian band?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, it seemed like some of the stuff that was on the mainland stuff was a bit crustier than is in my wheelhouse. And then the 90s though, there's so much good European stuff, and Europe is showing America how hardcore tours should be done and treatment of bands should be across Europe.
This is a cop-out. Dan's trying to blow smoke up Europe's ass now for their treatment of American bands, and he's not talking about European hardcore bands.
Not true. Eyeball.
Yes, the crucial
Sportswear.
response bands, we all love them. In fact, we love them and put them on a pedestal more than probably anyone here that I haven't heard anyone talk about those bands, right?
And Good Life stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I chose that Angel Crew, Dying Breed. Are they
Oh
UK?
yeah. No, that's Europe.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, that song is sick with the roar. Dying Breed. Ben loves it too. But yeah, like that.
Is that from Staffen?
Well, that?
That question.
Oh, I can't remember. I didn't write down the names because I don't want to get people's names wrong and people don't tell me how they want to be billed. Right? So I'd feel weird,
I have one.
It's like it's surfboard69.com Instagram.
For continental Europe for the 80s, BGK from Holland.
Yep.
They're very minor threadish. A little bit more, I think they're faster and have less finesse than Minor Threat. But if you're into that kind of stuff, BGK's a good. I have the discography CD, so it's like I never learned like what songs are on which records. And I also Raw Power Screams from the Gutter as well. I'm a fan of that. That was actually produced by Paul Mayhern of the Zero Boys in the United States in Indiana. So good job on that one. Yeah,
That's a good point though, because like the Wah Power 7-inch and the After Your Brain, I don't like them as much, and a lot of it is the recording. The recording on Screams from the Gutter is so bright and raging and sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had at least for like 1980, 81, 82, I was putting together these playlists that you can access on Spotify of one song from every hardcore record, or maybe it was one song from every hardcore band that came out in 78, 9, 80, 81, 82. I had to stop at 82 because 83 is when it just becomes unmanageable. It's just, there's like twice as many records from 83 as there was from 82, maybe even 4 times as many. But going into those early 80s ones, I listened to a lot of European stuff for the first time ever, and a lot of it was very poorly recorded. And I don't understand if they were behind on recording technology. That doesn't seem to make sense. So all it takes is a handful of really good recording studios. And by really good, I mean good sounding by hardcore standards. Don Fury's studio in New York was like the size of a closet, but everything sounded really good. So if you don't have that on an entire continent, and I know everyone's throwing their phone down, being like, you know, such and such in fucking Hamburg was the shit, whatever. But like that was like the big thing holding it back for me is just like, man, these records are poorly recorded. But then of course I had to stop by the end of '82. So here's a fun one. The Rondos, I think they were from Holland, and they were an anti-drug band before Minor Threat even existed, or around the same time. They had this song about like, I don't need no speed. So
they're like, we don't need no speed. We just want all your weed.
Yeah, I don't think so. But that band Larm from, I think they were from Holland too, members that went on to Seeing Red. Like they were like a straight edge band in like '84, and they were like, we weren't influenced by Minor Threat. We were influenced by this band, the Rondos. That's why we were an anti-drug band, because these older, you know, our older brothers were preaching this, not these guys across the pond in DC. So I thought that was interesting. I just assumed anything that, you know, Minor Threat's ground zero for that kind of thing, but they're not really.
Well, I would love to be turned on to some. Yeah, I mean, I've heard Larm, and but some things like this. This listener and potential other listeners that suggest some 80s stuff, but for the 90s, like I loved 59 Times the Pain, which was like kind of the Dutch Sick of It All, you know, sounded very much like that. And then I really loved the two Abinanda LPs out of Sweden. I loved Refused, Songs to Fan the Flames. At the time, I did really enjoy Shape of Punk to Come, but it did not hold up. Like,
and Shield was on Desperate Fight Records. That's the Swedish label that put out all this stuff. They were kind of outspoken-y. They had a lot of acoustic, you know,
and talky parts.
Yeah. I really dug them.
Yeah.
The two Sportswear 7-inches and the Main Strike LP and that Eyeball 7-inch.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss, dude. That's like where it's at. Those records kick so much ass. They hold up so well. They're absolutely amazing. Joe, you got anything on this?
90s Satanic Surfers.
Oh yeah, dude.
10-foot pole split.
Yeah, Satanic Surfers 10-foot.
They're not a hardcore band, but that's all I could think
Doesn't
of.
matter.
When you brought up Sweden, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. So.
Funeral Oration for Zack.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Funeral Oration.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
The 1984 LP Communion, I love. Everyone should check it out. Some of the deep cut heads like the demos before that, but Communion's where it's at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm also going to have to just give a shout out to No Fun at All, just because they are cinema beer veterans.
That's a good point.
Yep.
Shout out to them. Okay. Next one. What is the most crucial record in your collection, and also the most valuable to you, and the most valuable price-wise?
Ooh.
Can I look that up?
I mean, I've got Minor Threat, Out of Step, First Press, and The Way I Got It was the nicest.
Stole it off Mandel's shelf.
No, just Mike Stobie, who's a tattoo artist here in San Diego, who I'm friends with. It's just an old punk. He used to do all the flyers for the Tim Mays shows that were done back in the day. So he's like just a old punk head from San Diego that did like, it was basically him and Mad Mark Rude that would do all the flyers for San Diego, like emerging punk and hardcore shows, like from 80 on. And one day we were just sat over at his house and he goes, "This will mean so much more to you than it does me." And he just gave me the record. So for the fact that it has that friendship connotation, and it just was like, you know, handed down from someone who bought it literally, you know, at the shows or from a record store, like the minute it came out, it's just, it means the most to me in that regard.
I think my most valuable record is the Aryan Disgrace 7-inch. I don't want to say the name of it on the pod, but everyone can look it up. I think it's like a $700 record. That's value-wise. I have a Tom Waits test press that for, I don't even remember what record now. That COVID brain fog. I'll Google it.
Small Change. I'm just saying
Oh,
that.
no, that's right, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
pulled that out of my ass.
It's like a 70s classic, and basically like I had a Reason to Believe test press, and I sold it. And at the same time, like that record, what I got for it was like the same as the Tom Waits test press on eBay. So it was I told myself it was like a trade because at that time I'd never spent that much money on a record. And so, yeah, I got that. I also got Mass Appeal on test press too. So what's up? Ding, ding, ding,
That's-
ding, 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 ding.
I have Ritual on Broken Test Press. That was given to me by Steve, so that is also just a thing. And then Rob gave me a Life, Love, Regret on Blue and wrote like this really nice letter in it. All of mine are like, yeah, they are records that are worth a lot, but the connotation that went along with them is the stuff that's made them the most special in my collection, I suppose. I've got lots of really, really, really expensive Britpop records, but 185 listeners don't care about that. If Zack's gatekeeping it,
This one does.
Shout out Elastica.
That's true. Ben, what's your take on this?
I worked for I think I interned for maybe 3 days at Side One Dummy Records, which was co-owned by Joe Sib, still is. And Joe Sib is this old California, San Jose area guy, skateboarder.
stand up.
He does that now. He wasn't doing that back then. This was the year 99 or 2000. And they were putting out like 7 Seconds and Suicidal records at the time. And he had this script for a film about the Germs, about Darby Crash, that was written by Allison Anders, who is famous for Mi Vida Loca and Gas, Food, and Lodging. And he let me borrow the script and read it, and I gave it back to him, and it was a terrible script. And by the way, a movie about the Germs did get made by someone else, completely different script, which was also terrible. But he knew how much of a Germs superfan I was, and I think he may have felt bad for not hiring me as a real employee of Side One Dummy. So my last day of 3 days of working there, he gave me an OG mint condition Germs Lexicon Devil / Records #1 7-inch with the gold cover. And I mean, this thing had never been played. And he told me that when Slash was clearing out their offices, they had a whole box of them and they gave him one. So he passed it along to me. And a couple of years later, I had a record nerd friend look at it, and he says, this isn't an original version. And then a few years after that, I had someone else look at it, and they're like, no, this is real. This is an original version. So it is. I mean, now that we have Discogs, we can look at the Matrix and all that shit. So yes, that has the most sentimental value, and it is the most, I'm almost certain, the most valuable record I own.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's worth a lot of money.
And also, shout out Side One Dummy, one of the most important punk labels in the history of the genre.
They could have been even more important if they brought Ben on.
Right?
I would
fucked up.
have kept them from signing Flogging Molly, and they would have been out several $100,000.
Joe, let's go to you.
Millions.
Well, I mean, probably the most expensive record I have is the clear vinyl of Nard Curse LP.
Yeah.
Right? Probably the most important. No, I'm just kidding.
Ouch.
I think the most sentimental one to me is my first press of Oxnard Land and No Toilets from Miller Butte. But I'm a homer, so that's why. Probably my most expensive, I'm going to say, is my Chesterfield King Jawbreaker 12-inch, the original press, the Tupelo.
It's a very hard to get record.
Maybe the Jawbreaker Sam I Am split that came in the No Idea, the fanzine that came in that. I don't think that's worth a lot of money, but it's super hard to get. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And maybe my Zappa record.
Which one?
I'm trying to find it, but Uncle Meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm all asking which one, like I know anything about Rick Zappa.
Because it's a first press. But it's the one we talked about in the car on the way up here. The cover's all thrashed. And
Dude,
stuff,
that Abba Zabba song is so sick. I put it on my my old phone, and because for whatever reason when I get in the car, it just plays my shit alphabetically, So I'll be like, skip to the next one, and then that Abba Zabba song is sick, dude. So I know and like one Frank Zappa song. He's batting 1,000. Okay, let's see the next one. who is your Jersey hardcore punk Super 7? So we won't do a full Super 7, but shout out to your favorite Jersey records and bands. Dan.
New Jersey. I'm gonna go. The Mouthpiece song off the Face Tomorrow 7-inch. Oh my god, the name is escaping me right.
Cinder.
Are we going
Cinder.
songs? We're going
Cinder.
deep.
Oh, okay. I thought we were just coming up with 7 songs amongst us really quick.
Just shout out Jersey.
Okay, shout out Jersey.
So shout out Stickman, Don't Hurt Us.
Yep. Born to Run, Bruce Springsteen. No, I'm just kidding.
Good God.
I'm just kidding.
Well,
I like this. God, my mind is blank in
Okay,
person.
Floor Punch 7-inch.
Yeah.
E-Town Concrete, Second Coming.
Manic Compression.
Quicksand's not from New Jersey.
No, not Manic Compression. Manic.
Depression.
No.
Jimi Hendrix is not from New Jersey.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The Bouncing Souls.
Oh, okay. Maniacal Laughter.
Maniacal Laughter.
That would make
Jesus
Rad.
Christ.
McRad's Jersey, right?
Yes.
7?
Or are they
Yes.
Philly?
LP.
Yeah, you know what? They might be Philly. I think
Second
it's
LP. It's so good.
They might be Philly.
Yeah. Joe? Lifetime?
I mean, Jersey's best, I guess, but
Let's get closer to the mic here.
Hello, Bastards.
the bastards too.
Both. You're putting them both in?
No, I'm gonna say Jersey's best from Lifetime, and then I'm gonna go Benji's pick and say
Skid Row?
Skid Row.
Skid Row's Jersey? Shit. Ben, let's go to you.
Dude, the fucking Misfits.
Oh,
None,
good God,
none of you
man.
guys have mentioned the Misfits.
Good God, man.
You're right.
By the way, go back into those archives. Episode 138. Oh, and an entire episode on the Misfits. Great episode. It's one of the few bands we were able to do, an entire episode with all the segments and shit for my favorite song by them is Astro Zombies. I don't have a favorite record. Beyond the Misfits, Turning Point No Escape split 7-inch.
Oh, yeah. Turning Point
Yeah.
in general.
And Turning Point in general. No Escape's also from New Jersey, but I'm talking about Turning Point here. And Mouthpiece, Hands Tied.
Naughty by Nature.
Not because I hate you. Yeah, we could do hip hop, fucking Queen Latifah, but
Yeah, we could on another pod.
Yeah, it's gonna drive Zach totally nuts.
But you guys say that like it's a bad thing, and it's like, oh, we're driving Zach crazy. But it's like it's a hardcore podcast. Like
I know, but
hip hop is like the most popular music in the world. You know?
No,
one mention here is not derailing the entire hardcore.
But it's like,
though.
shout out, I'm Deep Catalog. I like the most popular music in the world. When we're talking, like the podcast is about
country?
super niche music.
we're just talking about music we love from New Jersey, but I do appreciate the sort of the herding of cats that Zach does because, especially with digressions, you listen to other podcasts of that talk about have any topic and it's just nonstop digressions. Then it's like, okay, let's get to the thing that the podcast is actually about, which we have the Patreons for that kind of a thing. Other New Jersey bands. I think that's a good stopping point. I'm sure the second we move on to the next topic, I'm gonna, blurt out something.
Dan wants to shout out to 97A and his homie Chris Kelly.
Shout out Chris Kelly, only because you probably would create a very interesting pod if you were on as a guest. Although I do want to shout out Tear It Up.
Oh yeah, and one of those dudes booked a couple of our Jersey shows that were great.
Strength
And
691
Fast
too.
Times.
Fast Times are from New Jersey. Down in Flames, the Rights. There are a lot of bands from New Jersey, but
Yeah.
Well, and pre Teared Up Dead Nation, right?
yes, and technically, Underdog, right?
And technically Rick the Life. What's up?
Okay,
Keeping it real.
and technically Mike Judge, but not Judge.
That's true.
Whatever.
That's true. Yeah, it's a Jersey Connecticut mashup, dude. Let's write a song called New York Crew, dog. What's up?
But above all, the Floor Punch 7-inch.
Floor Punch 7-inch. Hell yeah, dude.
And Nate Gluck.
And the Floor Punch demo. Those ones are great. Okay, let's do the next one here. Thanks, that was a good question. Fun to talk regions. Oh, what is your top Jerry's Pizza memory? You got one, Ben?
Never went there. Never stepped foot in Jerry's Pizza. Isn't that weird?
Oh, dude.
just
What is
one
that,
of-
661? What's the area code?
Well, it was 805 back then, but it's
Well,
66.
it was not in the early 2000s. In like
Oh,
the
well, yeah, it
90s.
changed. It changed in mid 90s. Yeah,
Yeah. 661 or 664?
661.
Yeah. Shout out 661.
Palmdale and Lancaster too.
Yeah. I don't know. We played a bunch of shows there. You know, the last time that Retaliate played there was great with the Warriors. That was awesome. The place used to be way more compact downstairs, but they opened it up and feels like less of a fire hazard. That's cool. There was one time that In Control played with No Justice and Life's Halt, and that was wild. Because at that time, like, Timmy No Justice was like, he had the rep as the wildest man, like the wildest singer, you know, and he went wild, and so did Ernie. It was like, good luck, Ryan. You know what I mean? Good luck being a lame up there, like, stiff ass board.
It's like going up after HR and Gigi Allen.
I know,
Back to
right? It's
back.
like, what am I going to do? Yeah. But it was funny because someone recorded that set. I think it was Morgan from Born to Hate, shout out. And afterwards we got the video and we like watched our set and we're like, dude, we played for 11 minutes. What? Like, what is this all about, you know?
20 songs.
We were just so we were just neurotic about not letting people get bored, you know. So like, and at that time it must have just been on a 7-inch. We basically played the 7-inch and we're out.
But you know what? As old barnacles that we are, which we're not, but we are, but we're not, but we are. Bands these days play 12, 14 minutes and that's it. That's their set, you know. So that's happening more often. So I see yet again just paving the way for everyone.
Shit, it's just funny though, driving 2 hours and it's like we drove to play 11 minutes. I mean, it's like, well, we went to see No Justice and Life's Halt.
Yeah. My favorite memory is we played a show there with Bane and Striking Distance, and it was packed, and in the downstairs, and just everyone who was there was just really energetic and participating and loving it. I mean, how can you not when you're there for Give Blood, Era Bane, and Striking Distance, just in their prime, which is, you know, Dave Bird in his prime is Dave Bird breathing air, really, because he's always in his prime. Even now, he's in his prime. But coming off that record that they did around that time, Light the Fuse, and they just fucking ruled, like absolutely ruled the place. You and Ryan were going crazy for them then.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah.
I had to have been there for
Yeah,
the Striking
absolutely.
Distance in California.
Yep.
Yeah. Ben, why do you hate Bakersfield?
I don't, and I've been to shows in Bakersfield. I just never went to Jerry's Pizza.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, Joe, what's your best memory of Jerry's Pizza?
When I was in Ill Repute, so 98 ish, we played there with when it was still the skinny hall downstairs. We played with Strung Out there, so it was like ridiculously packed.
Fuck, was Dan there?
Maybe
You know it.
goggles. But we there was 5 of us on stage, 2 guitars, bass, singer Tony, and then Joey on drums, and the kids were going crazy, and they knocked over the PA and it fell on me.
Ooh.
And I didn't even I'm playing, and all of a sudden it just hits me on the side of the head, and I would go down.
Ouch.
Because it's on the tripod
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
that Eddie set up. It was a numbskull show, so that's my favorite memory.
Yeah, that's wild.
If you even have a memory, if you have a memory of it, you were told this memory.
I mean, it was a lot of fun. Like earlier in the show, like there was a kid trying to panhandle, and like he's like, "Hey, you got a couple dollars so I can get into the show?" I'm all, "Come on, dude, like do something for it, like work for it." He's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Sing me a song or something." I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I put my hat down and like started doing like dancing on the street and singing and stuff. Like, as you know where Jerry's is, so there's a little bit of foot traffic there. And then I got like $7 or $8 for the kid, and I gave it to him. Well, see, that's how you do it, man. Come on, you gotta have an angle.
Got to have that hustle, dude.
And then later on, he's in the show and sees me on stage. He's like, I didn't even know you were in the band.
And he's the one who pushes the PA over.
Yeah, probably.
Fuck. Hey, Joe, did he play that song that night that shit talks me and Ryan and the rest of us?
Probably.
I'd love to know it.
Is there really a diss track?
Yeah,
no,
dude. It's
no.
Joe, what are the lyrics? Come on. We should try to find those lyrics and read them. And how could they not be about us? You said they're about someone specifically.
Hardcore. Let's fuck shit up.
No, it's like, and now you're due to da-da-da, and now you're claiming hardcore pride. You know, something.
So it was about Joey, our drummer, the owner of Edge
We wrote a
Records.
song about our drummer.
Because Joey hated him, dude.
Yeah, that's wild.
All right, we're going to do a deep dive on that track on a future episode.
We might pull it up. Let's take a food break and then we'll talk about that.
One thing I will say is at that that little tour is we covered the Faith and Striking Distance covered Void, so you had a live Faith
that's
Void split
freaking
in
great.
Jerry's Pizza.
What face song did you do?
We did Your Ex.
What Void song did they do?
They did 2 different ones. I can't remember. Do you remember?
They did My Rules.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. The same person asked, "Who is on your Mount Rushmore of youth crew bands?" And let's extend that like straight edge hardcore bands. I think is the move, right? Youth crew and youth crew influenced bands, because otherwise they might just be a Mount Rushmore of youth crew, right? You know.
Well, you've got Youth of Today,
Yep.
Side by Side.
Yep. Bold.
Do they make it?
Oh, you're including these are your 2. I'm saying if you used original
Oh, yeah, if you're originally the
youth crew, like
yeah.
you might only have a
And Judge is in there, even though they sound a lot different from Youth Crew, you know?
right.
Chain of Strength. I mean, it can only be 4. That's what the whole thing the whole point of
Yeah,
Mount
yeah.
Rushmore is
So
4.
you're taking Youth of Today and Side by Side and other 2, Dan. Come on.
Chain. And 4th is going to be... Fuck it. Floor Punch.
Sick. Yeah, dude. I might be the same. I might be Youth of Today, Side by Side, Floor Punch, and what's up with that Main Strike LP, pussies?
Jesus. I'm going Youth of Today, Gorilla Biscuits, Chain of Strength, Bold.
Yeah, I mean, that's the move, right? You got an opinion on this one, Joe?
We're
Not
Side by
really.
Side.
Gorilla
Yeah.
Biscuits for
Close.
sure. For me, the rest of them,
Gorilla Biscuits better than you. That's a great song.
some instead, maybe.
Oh, yeah. These are all great bands. Okay, let's go on to what is your craziest road story? Can't tell mine. Statute of limitations. Damn, how about you?
God, it's it's one of those things like ask to go back into your archives of like of the craziest. I'm trying to think. I'd say we played this place in Germany called Berchtesgaden, which is up by the Eagle's Nest where Hitler had a mansion up there, but it's really remote. It's up on the is it? I don't know what mountain range. I think it's the Alps. It's right up there, and it's on the border of like Austria. Anyway, this is a very remote town, and we start playing, and the kids in the crowd pick me up. And like in Return of the Jedi where the Ewoks carry C-3PO like as a god. So they pick me up and they hold me up in the air for 3 songs. Like we go from song to song to song, and I'm just being carried around while singing. And then they put me down, and then they go grab Aaron, and then they pick him up for 2 or 3 songs. And I don't know if it was like something that's just local to there, but it was so fucking sick. Also, we had a lot of merch because we were touring Germany. Well, we were touring Europe, and we sold so much merch. Like the security guard, who was just an old dude at the show, is buying like $250 worth of OMDB merch, which he'll probably have never listened to us ever, but he's got the OMDB Richter lifestyle belt and the zip up track jacket.
He's so tired of like only thing available to him is Hitler tour, like Hitler fucking
Eagle's Nest tour merch.
Souvenirs like
Third Reich.
I came to the Eagle's Nest and all I got was this shitty National Socialism.
But that was just the thing when we're back in the van after the show and we're just like, oh my God, like that was so cool to like roll through and experience like almost like a different culture of the way shows happened just on those weird little things that happened. It's not like the craziest road story, but you know, a lot of crazy road stories you don't want to air at some point, you know, but that was a really interesting one. And it was such an amazing place to go play because it was unbelievably beautiful up there. And just, it's so rad to roll into a remote place where people are like, thank you so much for coming, you know. It's cool.
Hell yeah. Ben, you got anything crazy from the road?
Rolled my Volvo station wagon several times on the Camarillo grade, driving Bad Reaction up to Oxnard to play with Ill Repute. And we still made it and played the show. Of course, we played after Ill Repute and everyone had left, but we still made it. We played the show. And like the ceiling of the car caved in on my head. I had to get like my head super glued shut. You know, like that's what super glue was actually originally invented for, was to treat cuts. Yeah. And my two bandmates in the back seat were not wearing their seat belts, and they were the only two that weren't injured. They just held on to the front seats as we were rolling. We did cancel the NorCal shows for the next day and the day after that.
The car wreck shit is scary. Like, you know, it's not like a gnarly story like, oh shit, that's wild, man. But that's one of the easiest ways to die, right? One time we played Showcase in Control, and on our way home, it was a rainy night, and we were in like one of those like 9-car pileups in the city and industry. And that shit was wild, dude. It was pretty fucked up. And yeah, same thing. Like there was a few people without their seatbelts because me and Ryan were driving shotgun. Robert was like behind the seats. It was funny because I remember like, you know, when inevitably you're going to get in a wreck, like, you know, all the brake lights are on and you're like, there's no way we stop in time. Like Robert yells, Ryan! It's fun. But Tony, our drummer, and Livia, Ryan's girlfriend, were in the back in the camper shell. The camper shell of that was just in Ryan's dad's truck. And yeah, so they could have gotten killed really easily with all the stuff ping-ponging around, you know, back there. Joe, you got a wild road story?
80 miles east of Albuquerque on the 40, traveling to DC, rolling the Good Riddance van.
Yeah.
I hit black ice and flipped the van. It was just me and the roadie. The Good Riddance was flying to DC to meet us.
Rock stars.
Yeah.
Dude, you know the most disappointing part of the Bad Religion book was like Greg Graffin doesn't ride a bus. He doesn't even take the bus. It's too hard for him. He literally flies to every single show by himself. Like since like 91, dude. And like what? And he's putting out books in like 2022, like punk and this and that, like talking about punk. It's like, dude, you've been flying aeroplanes to shows
30 plus years,
and playing behind barriers for 30 years. Like, you're a smart dude, but let's take a look in the mirror and see what's up, right? The 80s were a long time ago, dog.
They did have shows in California, and we were like meeting them there, so we took their gear, and they had a bunch of shows with no effects. So it was seemingly rockstar move, but there was a reason for it.
Yeah, but in the IC camp event, does that mean Tony and Ryan's girlfriend were busting the Tony move?
What's the Tony move? Denying that you masturbate?
Texas?
What's that?
What's the Tony move? Denying that you masturbate?
No, no, the other Tony, the ill repute Tony.
Oh, were they 6 denying in the past?
Yes, exactly.
The best story of the pod.
Yeah, oh, that's funny.
Tony Molino denies that he masturbates.
He used to, like, yeah, I don't do that, man. It's like, okay, right on. And then like, but one time we were on tour and Ryan's like, "What the fuck is this on my blanket, dude?" Tony, did you throw a fucking beat on my blanket? And he had to like own up to it. And we're like,
Beat.
You fucking don't throw. That is rude. You do not throw a beat on another man's blanket.
That's Roger about to sleep in bed.
You do not jerk off in the back of the van while the rest of the band is driving somewhere either.
No, then you wait for the shower. All the shower drains on tour are taking a pounding. You know, everyone's shooting loads in the shower drain. No, dude, you're fucking 20 years old. Jesus Christ! Like a stiff breeze gave me a boner. Right?
Oh
is this wrong?
No, this
Human
is right.
sexuality, people. Come on.
I just had a lady in every port.
Yeah, that's right. Dan was pounding AOL, man. Okay, favorite hardcore urban legend. You got one? I remember one time, it must have been when Floor Punch was out here, like Matt Summers was telling a story that I don't remember well enough, but it was like John Joseph like beat the shit out of someone and was like, "That's for not knowing what my name is." And like that's like those are like the New York hardcore stories you used to hear, like, "Damn, these guys are gnarly," you know? And like I don't remember if that's what it is, so I sorry for tossing someone out there, but yeah, it's shit like that.
So
I don't
true
know.
or not
Hardcore
true?
Urban legend?
Just urban legend. is
Yeah,
what we're-
that's
okay,
just
so
urban,
it could be
urban
bullshit.
legend. Right. What you got anything, Dan?
I mean, all of those like stories of like, and most of them are kind of true, but then they go down that telephone route, right, where it started out as truth and then it became like
Bastardized, yeah.
yeah, but like just Harley like fighting half the line at like a CBGB's
Right.
matinee show or something,
Yeah.
or you know, all those things. But like, I prefer hearing the stories of like, I mean, they're always like gnarly fight ones, but I always like to hear the stories of like when a rad, like scary old dude has actually been awesome to someone in the past. Do you know what I mean? Like let them in a show or put them on or just was like super nice or something. Yeah. I really wish maybe now I'm all sedated after having a nice Impossible Burger cooked by Bert, but I wish my mind was working a bit better where I could just pluck things out like straight away, like, oh yeah, this. But you know, I hear some, like last time I was in Manchester, I heard a great one from my friend Mark Bordy that I won't name who it was, but someone, a bass player of a hardcore band, was playing in was dating the daughter of Hell's Angel, the leader of the Hell's Angels in the UK or something, and he just got a knock on the door one day. Hey, we're putting these things in your garage and do not look at what they are and we'll come back. Even though this is not that hardcore related, but the story was so gnarly. He's like snuck in and like peeked inside the boxes and it's just boxes full of AK-47s. He's like, you know, but those kind of things when like it's very hardcore adjacent, but then you hear just some crazy story. Those are my favorite urban legend ones where 90% is true, but it's just like, how the fuck are we in the same room as these kind of people that are living this lifestyle? You know, those are the ones that for, you know, the craziness of the stories, those are the ones that I enjoyed the most hearing. I just don't really want to be in those stories, you know?
Ben, you got anything?
I would just hear like in the 80s, like Pat Dubar would kind of be the superhero to all the straight edge kids at big scary shows like Fenders and like stand up for them and like beat up people who are picking on them. And then I've also heard that he was just like a jerk. So I don't. It's maybe it's true, maybe it's a legend. Until we get Pat on the pod, we'll sort that out.
Yeah, I heard another. Well, see, this is weird, man. I can't be telling all these stories, but I mean, I guess old shit, right? I heard a story once that like Casey from DI like went to Cafe de Grand and he was like super drunk and he was like bowling a bunch of people and just finally people were like, we had enough. I think he punched someone and then he just got like rat packed by a bunch of kids and they like fucked him up. Like
It's like that.
like a grown ass man just getting beat up by a bunch of kids.
It's like that episode of Seinfeld where Kramer does karate.
Yes.
And they get him in the alleyway and just lump him up.
exactly. Joe, you got anything?
I got a Harley one. I have no idea if it's true or not, but supposedly like he like knocked out Dave Mustaine, like Megadeth in Cro-Mags were playing with Fenders, and like Dave was like, set up my shit, Rhodey, to Harley, and Harley just like fucking knocked him out.
I could definitely see that happening on both sides.
But I don't know if that's like, did that show really happen, or is
Right,
you know,
I mean that's why it's an urban legend, right?
Yeah.
Just like what's the story? Henry Rollins and some dude like chasing Motley Crue down the street,
yeah.
you know, like.
While they had the dicks and burritos.
Which is hilarious because, like, you know, post my war, Motley Crue's putting out better music than fucking Henry Rollins. You should have chased him down the street.
No way, because My War came out in '84, and the last good Crew album came out in '83, which is 2000.
Shout out to
Shout out to Devil.
First of all, fucking Wild Side, that riff will fucking melt your dick. You know what I'm saying? Like, Wild Side bodies anything Henry Rollins has done post '84 for sure.
I think you got a little self opinion, man.
Nice. I see what you did there.
I think you're a liar.
Exactly, dude. You know, well, Henry's like, I'm gonna wear as much makeup as Motley Crue. You know, he probably chased him down and was like, can I get some makeup tips? I'm gonna fucking paint myself red. You know. All right. Let's see here. Next question. How many records do each of you have? How do you sort? We did this on a episode before, so let's keep this short. Hit them archives. If you read the notes in each episode, there is one where we talk about our album organization. It's pretty wild. But yeah, I have probably. I mean, I have a little under 2,000 records, I think. So, Dan, do you have any idea?
Well, I've got a 5x5 Expedit, and then I have 6 2x4s full. Then I have a ton of records that aren't even in those yet, as well as got to have about 2,007 inches, probably. Maybe a 1,500, but it's a problem.
Yeah, I'm under 2 combined now. I'm trying to get everything down to 1,000. Like, I'm legitimately trying because I don't need to hoard all this shit. You know, so I got a few of my Expedit like shit ready to sell, but I'm waiting for that right moment, you know. But hey, hit up Stillmatic 619 on Discogs and buy the fucking Surprise Vacation record for $1,000.
Yeah, look at some of those prices under Stillmatic 619, and then you know, then when you wake up after you fainted, maybe purchase one.
People get mad, dude. They email me and they're like, "What's up with you? Like way overpricing these records?" Like, I don't really want to sell them, but I had some time that day, so I like listed them and I put them at a stupid price. And you know, I'm not gonna put anyone on blast, but like some people have bought stuff. You know what I mean? And like, respect if you got the money and like there's one copy online. Like, hey, that's what it's about. Like, sorry that. You know, X amount of records went for 200 when they're probably $40 records, but I don't want to let it go for any less than that. Like it's worth more than 40 for me, so list it at 2 and see who bites.
I don't even get out of bed in the morning for selling a record less than $200.
Shit, that's what's up. Ben, how big's your collection? How do you organize it?
I think
CDs.
I think I have maybe 700 7-inches and the same amount of LPs. Or I should say just 12 inches. And I have the wrap and everything that isn't wrap separated from each other. And then for CDs, I have about 5,000. And it's just anything that's not wrap A to Z, then all wrap A to Z, then rap compilations and soundtracks, and then non-rap compilations and soundtracks. That's just how it went.
Yeah,
So,
my vinyl shit is just straight up. It's guitar music, A to Z, shameful 10 inches in front, then all the LPs, and then 7 inches just alphabetical. But my 7 inches is the one that I break out my hardcore and punk. So it's like hardcore punk and then like the other shit, because one day I would love to own a jukebox and like put in all the 45s of like all his hit 80s songs that I love.
Jeremy Lux just did that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, he's just bought a jukebox and he has like all the 7 inches that him and his wife like in there.
That's
So
great.
ill. Shout out Lux, someone that is Smash Dan in trivia on multiple occasions, right?
No, he lost every time.
Oh, shout out to Jeremy Lux, loser of trivia multiple times. Joe, what's your collection like?
I probably have about 120 LPs or 12 inches, 2 10 inches, and maybe 37 inches. And it's kind of all just organized just as alphabetical.
That's what's up,
which is
dude.
lame.
You don't need to be a hoarder to be punk. How about that?
I'm straight edge, so I have other obsessions. The way I break my collection out is I have A to Z on everything. I have rap pulled aside, A to Z, and then I have all of the completest artists pulled out by themselves. So I collect The Fall, Oasis, Joy Division, New Order, The Smiths, Morrissey, Jesus and Mary Chain, Nick Cave. All of these artists like a completist that have tons and tons of records, and I have them in their own across a few expedites where they're all broken out, and then all of the 7 inches by those all those completist artists are broken out into this giant carry case 7-inch thing that I have that is basically the size of this giant dinner table that we're sat at right now.
Yeah, people don't start this obsession. You see how shitty this is?
Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, I have the guitar rock shit, which is like everything. Rock and roll, punk, hardcore, whatever. And then I break out hip hop, I break out reggae, and I break out international. So those are the things that I collect otherwise. And really I just did that because when I'm at home, I mostly listen to reggae and international. You know what I mean? It's
So
like,
you want quick grab?
yeah,
area.
I want quick grab, and I love it. So, okay. Great question. Let's move on. And better workout music. Harkening back to a few weeks, Earth Crisis or Pantera?
Well, Pantera's sketchy and prison metal, as our boy Pops would call it. No, Earth Crisis, because you're gonna smash drug dealers. You're gonna also you're asking me about working out. Yeah, I play soccer. I play soccer twice a week, but
Dude, you like go
I go to
like
the forest.
miles through the forest like you're born a Norseman.
That's true. That's true. Reggie gets me out and about, but I still don't have the physique to answer this question correctly.
Yeah, but it's an easy one, right?
It's Earth Crisis.
Yeah, because fence walker music sucks, and dude, who is a band that has never fence walked on any fucking opinion? That's Earth Crisis. So Earth Crisis all day. What's up, Ben? What's your choice?
Earth Crisis because it's slower, so you can actually do reps in time to the music.
How about that? Joe, you got a choice? Pantera, Earth Crisis?
I'll just say Earth Crisis too.
Hell yeah. Okay, let's go on. This is a good one. Oh, I missed that. Earth Crisis. We're not going to touch this one, probably. Top 5 X straight edge agitators.
What does that mean?
This pod is about positivity. The edge lords, it's not a place for it, dude. There's only so much time, in the day to begin with, and then also definitely in the podcast that like we want to talk about things we like. You know what I mean? So I don't allow that troll behavior. That's why like Ben gets reprimanded for ranking Negative Approach at 99 and Dan for ranking Black Flag at 100. It's fucking embarrassing. But hey, it is what it is. So we mostly talk about things we love. And that's it. You got a favorite X straight edge agitator?
Well, I've got an X straight edge X agitator, and that's Bedge.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's like disappointing to do the top 100 records of the 80s and not have a Negative Approach be like top 10, but it is what it is.
But here's the thing. Ben's agitation is just Ben, like, honestly thinking the way Ben feels.
No,
the way Zack is taking it.
It's
his
half
agitation.
that. It's half that, but it's also like, I don't like the fans of those bands. It's like, that's why, because Negative Approach still plays. Ben sees how popular they are, and he's like, oh, people don't always, do their laundry at the show. And it's the same thing with like, it's like yeah, it's like some true punks, And then
That's not it.
yeah, and then also because it's the same fucking thing because it's the Poison Idea fans. There's a lot of crossover there, and it's like, oh no, someone said something negative about the king of punk, Ian MacKaye. Like, oof, There's a little bit of that. Like, you want safe, clean, hardcore mostly, Like, even when you like dip into like, early Southern California punk, you still want them to like be a little handsome with like bleach blonde hair, and you want them freshly out of the shower. You don't want to hear about like the fucking heroin addiction or they do coke or nothing like that. Like, that's just what I think, So Poison Idea and Negative Approach, like they're the darker side of hardcore, and so like it's not fucking freshly ironed, and so you don't like it as much. Dan, you're kind of in the same boat, but you don't tip as hard.
No. I'm changing my thing. We're gonna take the straight edge thing. My number one agitator is Zack Retaliate. That is the number one agitator in punk.
All right, let's move on to a really positive question. Okay, this person says, I've moved around a lot and travel for work. Any tips for finding out about shows in towns outside your hometown? That's a great question. And God, in the year 2022, I don't really know how to do that because it's not like the 90s, where you go to the closest record store, go to the skate shop, go to the record store and like get a flyer because, dude, like, 5 years ago and shit, like Take Offense would play San Diego sometimes. It's like, what the fuck? I wouldn't hear about it. I'd see like the photos on Instagram. It's like, why did no one tell me about this? You know what I mean? But it's like, if you don't follow the right person on Instagram, like how do you find out about certain shows, right?
Yeah, I mean,
dude, the Chisel, like when they came out here on tour, like my friend Micah, shout out Micah, friend of the pod. He was like, yo, I don't have Instagram. Can you try to find out where the Chisel show in Portland is? And I like went on their Instagram and they didn't even have the club posted. It's like, how do you know, dude? You know what I mean? I think they didn't advertise it because the show sold out right away. So then it's like there's no point in advertising it. But like still, it's like, fuck, you have someone that like wants to go to a show. He lives in the town for 20 years. It's hard to even find out about it. So what's up?
Yeah, but the one thing I would say for this person asking is find out before you travel there, what the venues that generally do the punk shows are and see if you can, look those up by hashtags on Insta to see,
good idea.
If they have social media presence, and then go from there. Just go down a wormhole. Also, an easy way to maybe try and find some of this stuff out would be put the year that we're in or that you're in whenever you're doing this, and the town or city that you're going to, and show, and then on YouTube and see what pops up.
That's a good idea. Also, when you're in town, most towns have like a free thing, that has like movie times and local shit. And, that's a place to get the club name. So
yeah, like the Reader here in San Diego or.
Exactly. Or LA Weekly in LA, right?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing?
Barely.
The Reporter.
It's essentially
Yeah,
useless
VC
now.
Reporter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, God, we're so fortunate. The 90s were so much easier, right? When you'd have like free Scratch magazine and shit and all the club stuff was in the back.
Yeah.
There'd be shit we'd miss, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's still shit you miss because there's no Scratch magazine in Ventura County. But like, yeah, I don't know. Ben, how should this dude find shows?
Yeah, I never even thought about some of those things that Dan was saying about hashtagging stuff. But I mean, I would Google the town, hardcore, band, and then whatever 3 or 4 of the bigger bands from that town pop up. Look them up on Instagram, see what shows they've played. They're playing with other bands. Then you have at that point, you pretty much have every band that plays hardcore in that
you
town.
rabbit hole it.
And then you just follow all of their Instagrams. I suppose that'd be a way to do it.
You can also still the people that work record stores are kind of knowledgeable, so you could go to the closest record store to your place and be like, yo, where are the punk shows in town? You know what I mean? And then you go to the punk show and then you look for the cleanest person with the posy top and then ask that guy where the hardcore shows are.
Hell yeah. And then I tell you, well, pause top in the past. The other thing is,
Look for the guy with the thinning field.
go to Whole Foods and just ask cashiers
Yeah,
or the
Trader
local
Joe's, yeah.
coffee shop and ask the baristas.
Get your hair cut, and yeah.
Yeah, you can't look for the psycho with tattoos anymore. That's everyone, huh?
Yeah.
Joe, you got any advice for this dude?
Yeah, just don't go to shows anymore. Just call it quits.
Find the local punk walking down the street
No,
and grab him.
all your guys' suggestions are fantastic, and you know, especially the hashtagging thing, because that's a fantastic move, because you're gonna be able to find
Flyers.
online
flyers,
or you know, other things related to the scene, and then like Ben said, then you can rabbit hole from there. You get a launching point, and then you can just figure out from there.
If you didn't find hardcore or punk, how do you think your life would be different? That's impossible because, like, it goes back to, you know, like when you're a child, right? You do the shit you're told, you know, maybe through junior high, high school, you start having an emerging personality. And it's like, I've been into it since then. Like, my best friends are from it.
Yeah.
You know, even like the ancillary friends that like aren't super into it anymore. Like, they were into it at one point because we were friends and they supported music we did. Like, everyone touched it, right? All the important people in my life. I can't think of someone that, you know, was unaffected by it. So it's just an impossible question to ask. I'd be a completely different person. I don't know. Maybe I would have taken school a little more seriously earlier in life, but I probably would have just been on, like, even though I was never straight edge, you know, until your boy turned straight edge like 5 weeks ago. Just kidding.
Respect.
But no, I mean, like, hey, I might have just had a drug habit, you know? It's like having some shit you like that you do is very important, I think, right? And like, even I think that when Daniel talks about the record collecting shit, I think it like sounds kind of negative. It's like, fuck, why do I have all these things? Because I don't care about things and other aspects of life. And I wish I could get rid of that too, but it's like, man, it's just a thing. It's good to have hobbies, right? It's good to have hobbies, and maybe it would have been sicker if like my hobby was jogging and like collecting records, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hardcore is a part of me, dude. It's just a part. Live, breathe, you know, drink it. It is what it is. Dan.
Well, everything I've been passionate about has always had a subcultural element, whether it is just from punk or hardcore or straight edge or anything. When I was liking, even before I knew what straight edge was, I felt that way. When I was liking, growing up, like on the cusp or on adjacent to the Manchester scene and going to see the Charlatans and the Happy Mondays and stuff like that, it still had a subcultural, even though they're on major labels, it had a subcultural vibe. It was like for the diehards, really, like going to those things. And I don't think and the way, like, I liked Iron Maiden, like they had like a very, you know, strong diehard fan base. So I would have sought something out outside of punk and hardcore that I was extremely passionate about as well. It's even like going to watch football matches in England, like there's still like an inside language to it where the true are more like dialed in, and then there's the people who are just, you know, once in a while go or whatever. And I just know I would have searched for a diehard belonging to something that matches the same way that I feel about punk and hardcore. And I still actually dabble in all those other worlds. Like I DJ a Britpop night, but it's an inside language that goes on with the people who are really passionate about it compared to the people who are on the periphery, you know? So I just would have searched, I'm sure, for, and the, you know, part of like Zack talks about the collecting and the almost exhibiting your participation, but the things that deliver, not to quote Marie Kondo or anything, but the things that deliver joy and like elicit passion from you, like that would have been something that I would have thought of everywhere. You know, I used to have a absolute strong, I mean, I still have an insane amount of shoes, but I used to be really into sneaker collecting when it was more of a culture and a passion, and then when the big brands realized they could just do a quick strike every like 2 weeks and just get people, and then people started flipping them and stuff, and it
Well, why'd I have to sign up for some contest for you yesterday, Dan? I'm
No,
not into it anymore, except I blast all my friends and have them sign up to shoe contests so I can get a limited edition thing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it used to be
That was
all-
1 out of 10. And
all encompassing, and now it's like more laser focused of what I like.
that's fair. I mean, I looked at it, I was like, okay, what, it had like one of the Oasis dudes on it?
Yeah, it's a Liam Gallagher.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
special
Dan
Adidas.
needs this. Okay, Ben, if your dad or dad's friend doesn't give you Never Mind the Bollocks when you're 4 years old, how would your life have been different?
I think I still would have been a big fan of music because I already was. I don't know what music. I was into oldies. So where does oldies take you? I don't know. I'd probably.
You'd be a swing dancing daddy.
Yes.
It gives me like bad flashbacks of working at Pat Holden's Liquor and Tim Holden being like, "Hey Zach, go tell those Vatos out front they can't hang out there." I'm like, excuse me, Vatos, can you disperse, please?
I'm giving you those flashbacks.
Yo, the chickens are
They used to play
around.
K-Earth. They used to play K-Earth 101 all the time at that place, and I hated it. Like, oldies are the most painful music to listen to if you have to listen to more than like 30 minutes.
Well, I like oldies, and I grew up on them. I mean, I don't like, every single song recorded between 1954 and 1967 or whatever, but that's the first music I was passionate about.
I hate that downtown song more than everything.
Petula Clark.
Petula Clark.
Go
Yeah.
downtown.
Well, the B-52s covered that on their first album, so
Hey,
that's the version I've heard more.
Yeah, and they're going to
It's
make one
all-
of Ben's most punk lists. Dude, the B-52 is most punk, dog.
Hey, it's all happening downtown.
That's true. I'm into it. Sorry, Ben.
I probably would have, maybe I would have not been straight edge. Who knows? But maybe I would have gotten more into skateboarding than I ended up getting, just because the same thing Dan was saying, like I seek out like subcultures with their own, language, and that's interesting to me. And skateboarding is one of those things.
Would skateboarding have been like if hardcore didn't exist? Would skateboarding and punk, you know what I'm saying? Like would the two, because the two rose together really, especially here in California. Right?
But this is in the exercise we're doing now. It's if I personally had never gotten into punk, so both these things still exist in the world.
Right.
And I got my first skateboard when I was 8, which is before I got into punk. So I had a skateboard. So there's that. So maybe I would have gotten more into that. I don't know.
Would Ben have offended more people with 1.5, or if he was only into skateboarding, he's like, we should really name that era in between Powell Peralta and Tony Hawk, pro skater.
No, it would be the era from the big wheels to the small wheels and big jeans, like right in between.
Right.
89, 90. Yeah.
When real skateboards is coming on
The beginning of the Edneys era.
Yeah.
Joe, you got a take on this?
Yeah, I mean, what Dan was saying is like true. Like I would have found some sort of genre that I would fit in. Probably, I mean, we're playing Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that, so maybe I would have like gone more that direction, and and then musically, then more into Iron Maiden and all that stuff. That was related to all that. It not really related, but related enough that it got associated with it.
Yeah, but
there was a lot of skateboarding too, but I don't know how you separate. Like I'm trying to say is, I don't know how you separate punk and skateboarding, especially in the '80s. Right. Like, if you're into skateboarding, you're gonna be into punk, especially in California. So,
yeah, do you think that you go harder into drugs if there's no punk, or less? Like, cause
I think that would have been the same.
Yeah,
regardless.
so in a way, like punk saves you in the '90s, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure.
That's important, right? If I wouldn't, because you're saying that you think you would have been drawn to drugs no matter what.
Yeah.
Then it's like, well, if punk saved you in the '90s from it, and there's no punk, what saves you?
Yeah.
Like what? Like I don't know, a Bucko.
I mean, I got to give
9 albums last year.
This will be the only
still
time.
kind of punk.
This will be one of the only times I can give Earth Crisis credit, because that I don't like them very much, but the veganism thing that they brought forth. I mean, there were lots of other people that were doing that, but that's what got me to go see the guy that helped change my life, the speaker that I saw, Howard Lyman. So, and it's because of Earth Crisis talking about veganism. So, because I was interested in what was that all about, I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And so I went to see this guy speak, and then like when we left, I threw my cigarettes out the window and never looked back. So
Joe's like, I'm not a smoker anymore. I'm just a litterer.
yeah.
It's symbolic, though.
No, I know.
That part of the story does suck, and it was 2-packs too, because I had Marlboro Reds and Newports.
And it fell right on top of the bold 7-inch that Rob Moran threw out the car window on the 405.
Yeah, I can't.
It was on the 405.
Oh my God, it was the same part of the.
I cannot shame you
at the
because
Skirball Center. Yeah,
I can't shame you because how many CDs did I throw out the window all across the country?
Roadside. Well, those cigarettes landed on top of the bold 7-inch, and then the stage diver from Iguanas landed on top of the cigarettes.
That's right. Okay, let's see.
Noodles picked it up.
Yeah, what scene is the most exciting right now? I still think the Bay's the hotbed. You know, like what those dudes do is so interesting. Like, I wish Gulch wouldn't break up. I think I wish they would take a hiatus or something because those songs are so interesting, and I have zero idea where they would go next. And I would really love to hear it. And then I just think that like it's so creative, right? Drain just recorded their second LP. I haven't heard it yet. Can't wait to hear it. They're living like that Cali dream, dude. Cali hardcore band, and you're on fucking Revelation. Then you're on Epitaph. Like, live the dream, dude. I love it. And then, Tsunami's still bringing the heat, king of that style right now, to the point where I see some bands jumping up, that seem like they're aping the whole style. You know what I mean? So,
Shout out Volcano.
oh damn, dropping it. But yeah, Dan, most exciting scene right now.
The Bay Area is really rad because I go to shows there as much as I can, and
That's why it's rad.
No. I'm saying
You want to meet Dan?
no.
That's rad.
Well, that is rad, but no, the way that they're the people behind putting on the shows and in all the bands and doing all this, they're really like built a scene from not much to being aped all over the world, and that's really impressive. And the shows are like a total multiplicity of a million different styles of people all in the same room having a great time with no schism at all, which is really great to see.
And old and new, right? Like Powerhouse is back.
Oh, yeah.
You got like RJ's around, Lux is around, the Powerhouse heads are around, like mixing with young kids, and it's like, it's sick.
Oh yeah, but I'm talking about like the Tsunami, Big Boy, and Field of Flames dudes being like some of the elder statesmen at these
Right.
Cupertino shows,
fair.
and like 14-year-olds and up coming to the shows and having a great time and being looked after. So
Yeah, that rules.
that's really cool. And then we've enjoyed a lot of records coming out of Europe, both UK and like France lately, which we'll go on to discuss in a minute. But last couple of years, like the whole Chubby and Chisel stuff, and some of the other bands
Is
around
the Flex associated with them?
Yeah, there's the Flex are from Leeds, and they also have Tom from Liverpool in the band, who has done Violent Reaction and Rated X. So
Because that last record is ill. We got to talk
So
it. We
good.
got to talk it at some point. So
Yeah.
it's not just on the year-end shit.
yeah, we absolutely have to. But yeah, some of the stuff coming out of there where there's a lot of bleed over from the different hardcore scenes, and including that new band out of Newcastle too. Just good stuff coming out of there. Obviously, I get hip to it by friends from home and stuff like sometimes. But yeah, I echo you. The Bay is just on top. Also, the Pain of Truth, like, and those bands from like the, I suppose,
It's like PA in upstate New York
area,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
ish.
Yeah,
They're
because
doing
like the
things.
Pain of Truth, Gridiron, and then also like they're the brotherhood they got with like the Never Ending Game dudes.
Yeah, the
You know
Detroit
what I mean?
stuff.
Yeah.
And then also the Idaho stuff, which is Knocked Loose, Inclination, and all those bands.
No, you're talking about Kentucky.
That's what. God, why did
You got them mixed up with
Ingrown from Idaho? Yeah, the Kentucky bands where they all, there's at least one or two in each other's bands, similar to the Bay, where there's one of two dudes from every band in each band.
Yeah, it's called a scene. It's like every scene.
Ben or Joe, you got anything on this? Or should we move on to back to the music?
I was going to say UK as well, because you got Chubby and the Gang, Rated X. You have that band Boss that we talked about, I believe, on the podcast before.
We did.
Jonah Falco is in that band, and he's a Canadian guy, but he produces a lot of the these UK bands.
He lives in London now. I think.
Right. Yeah, he lives in. He's at least a resident of the UK, and then Jesus Christ,
How punk is this podcast when there's rolling cans coming through, chickens moshing in the background?
I mean, it'd be punker if it was a PBR and not a Diet Shasta root beer.
just say it's a PBR. No one will know. Crown Court, are they still around, or is that old news?
Anyway,
Old news. All right.
Joe, you got anything?
Yeah, there's a scene in this town called Oxnard.
That's right.
Pretty solid right now.
That's going to birth the Out of Trust LP this year or early next year.
Whenever we get the vinyl back.
Oh yeah. So,
But it's done.
2026.
Yeah.
yeah, I was going to say 2027. Okay, let's move on. We are going to talk the Click demo, and this is called Looters in Paradise. This thing sounds savage. The first song, like when he's like kind of freestyle in the beginning and then it drops and like comes in, it's like, oh, the shit is savage as fuck. I like listening to this a lot. Again, it's like more modern, moshy, hardcore, heavy, but keeps my interest most of the way. There's one song that I didn't pull it out, but I like when they keep me on my toes, more tempo changes, keeping the song short. That's where they excel. They have one song that's a little dronier, and it harkens back to a lot of like the 90s metalcore. That might be what they're going for. It's not my preference, but in the back. But like, man, that first song is savage, and there's other moments of this thing that I love. I think this is great. I love the imagery. I love some of the sample stuff. Dan, you got to take on this?
Yeah, it fucking rips. It's really, really savage, as you say. It's channeling like what modern mosh heavy music is, but then it does bring in a little bit of that like bloodlet almost, like 90s like deep kind of dronier, messing around with like, I won't say messing around with timing as much as some of those bands did, but I really like it. It's very aggressive. Cool samples. I like the song "Rack Everything That You Need," just telling you to steal whatever you need to get by in life. Fuck society.
So I'm not at the San Francisco Super 7, right?
Yeah, not there or at the at the merch tables of the bands that come through. But other than that, rack everything that you need. I love that at the end it goes into "I'm Your Puppet," but sounding so like, I mean, a shout out to Zack hating oldies, but it goes into "I'm Your Puppet" and it sounds like the record is warped and like dying, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that part is almost cool, but like, dude, that is my least favorite hardcore trope right now. Like that every band has like a song that cuts and plays like an oldie or plays like a singing song. Everyone does it, dude. And I think we got to go back to, did someone do it before TUI?
Oh yeah.
Hardcore?
Emo core, Indian Summer did that shit with like Bessie Smith or whatever.
Yeah, that's on Ben's list. It ain't on mine.
Hey yo, it's not on my list.
So we got 98. Yeah, we got to go back. I think TUI, when they cut that song, it's like the "Welcome to Baltimore, where every day is an open door," or whatever, which is wild because like this trope is done by literally all my favorite bands, so I'll hear it on a record that I'm loving and it's like, they did it too. You know?
It's really prevalent because POI is like really like showing people like how to produce this stuff. But the interesting thing about this, apparently, when Click just played at the X Bar in Cupertino, they had loaded up on their like pedal like this to do it live. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, the future is here, dude.
Yeah. But you know, I'm just like that band that we just reviewed from Newcastle where they said they started sampling to break the monotony.
Wise up.
Yeah, Wise Up. When they used that sample where they said to break them, you know, keep it strictly hardcore to break the monotony, you know.
Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't mind it. Like, it is an overdone trope, but I like it in this case in particular. Yeah, well, yeah. But
I'm okay. Like, I don't know. Just the singy thing is what gets me, right? Like, if you come off it like a Gridiron song, you're going into a beat, I'm okay with that, right? Or even like the Wise Up stuff, I'm okay with that. Because that's like not super played out yet, you know, but that singing shit coming off the hardcore songs is, I don't know. It's just a trope I'm not a fan of, but obviously everyone is. So I'm just an idiot on an island, so whatever.
I think Hoven's voice on this is raw as fuck.
Hell yeah, dude. Like
shredded, drawn out, angry, really angry. And, you know, goes along with the, like, you know, the samples advocating violence, etc. It just is a whole vibe. It's a whole vibe of a POC band that fucking is ripping, and I love it.
Yeah, I think that, like, you know, generally for this style, I want like a really well produced monotone band. Generally, is like what I like for this. But yeah, there's like a level of anger and passion that comes through this one that is like very unique to it, and that's like, you know, shout out to the engineer and shout out to the band, right? Like, I think they went for an intentional sound and they got it. Like, it's really good. Ben, tell us all the reasons why you hate this record.
Well, I referred to the singing as monotone, low-pitched yelling, but you like monotone. But we agree that that's what this is. Above the Sanity is like chug mosh. I don't know. That's the term I use, but I guess maybe I can coin that too and write a giant article about it. Then Rack Everything That You Need has that is kind of the same idea, but it's got that. Would you call that a blast beat? The intro, the first part of that song, the super fast part, is that blast or scissor?
I don't know, dude. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, fuck, dude. I don't know. We're talking about this record here.
Can you have like? Are we gonna Posy Chris timestamp it?
You know, the beginning of the song, between 000.
Between 001 and 010.
Yeah,
is
probably.
that the Youth Crew beat or a variation?
But the pack has more Judds than Winona or Naomi, R.I.P. And then Save Us From Your Life has Earth Crisis Firestorm sorts of Judds. Very Juddy. Judd would be another thing, synonym for chug. Do you prefer Judd or chug?
I mean, Judd was used by a classic silly band, right?
Yeah.
The Judd 7-inch. Joe, you got to take on this?
Are you done?
I was just saying that.
Trying to save everyone.
I was saying that Frosty would approve of that old school jam, I'm Your Puppet by James and Bobby Purify.
Shout out Frosty. Joe, you got to take on this?
Yeah, so I just wrote the heavy. It's a super pingy snare. The drummer does rule, though. I like the throaty vocals with this music. I think it fits very well. I don't know what Ben was talking about, but I hear a bit of, you were talking about the Droney song, and so that stood out to me the most. Very, you know, Souls at Zero, Neurosis-ish feel to it with that, you know, that with style, but
modern hardcore.
With modern hardcore. Maybe even like a little His Hero's Gone kind of stuff too, a little dystopian kind of, you know, wasteland feel, whatever, you know, some profane existence stuff or something. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. The Pack, that's the song. Yeah, I wrote it down, so now I see my notes.
I got my Vans on.
Right on. Okay, so this rules. Everyone, check out all these songs on the playlist, 185milesouth.com. Check out the playlist at the top of the page. And let's do the last thing we're going to do is Syndrome 81, the album. I'm going to pronounce it wrong because I believe they're a French band. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
French.
Yep, they're from France.
Prisons Imaginaires. Yeah, LP.
Guess what it means?
What? Imaginary Prison?
Yeah.
Came out in this year, 2022. And this thing is sick, dude. And I don't know too much that sounds like it. If I'm talking about this in caveman brain lane, I'm saying it's a mashup of, dude, long COVID. It's no fun. Dan, what's the I Choose to Lose, the band you love?
High Viz.
It's like High Viz mashed up with Blitz.
Yeah.
And it's sick. I love it. It's like, it's so ill. It never gets to the point of being too polished, even though like the guitar lines are very pretty. There's like some heavy melody on this, but it's always like they're never taking like a toe off like being punk, right? Like they're reaching out as far as they possibly can, but they still got like a toe touching the punk lane at all times. So I love that. It's still like, I don't know. It still sounds gnarly, no matter how like out of the lane they're taking it into the pretty world. Like it's still punk. So that's what I dig about this. This LP rules. I absolutely love it. And Dan, you love it too, right?
Yeah, we are at the midpoint of July, so we're past the midpoint of the year, and this is my record of the year so far. I absolutely love this. The first song, Vive et Mourir, is I think Live or Die or Life or Death or Life and Death or something like that. Something my 5 years of taking French went up from 11 to 16 trying to attempt.
Dude, it's better than the second song. It looks like it's a song about your titties.
How dare
Dan's
you?
breast. Fuck.
Dans les rues de Brest, which is my favorite song on the LP, which is very melodic and super good. What I would say is this sounds like Blitz, and I do like the nod to High Viz in regard to what that is, but I would say it's like Blitz meets the Wipers.
Yeah, which is very similar, right? In the way that, not that they sound anything sonically, but it's like you could say the Wipers, you could say that, I love that band Milk Music, you could say High Viz, right? Where there's one guitar dude that's doing guitar shit the entire time, but it's not offensive. It's not the guitarist from Atari doing an octave every...
That poor guy.
I know, I love that guy.
He gets tarred and feathered every pod.
Yeah, if you're ever in San Diego, octave guy from Atari, like, hit me up. I will take you to dinner. You know what I mean? I owe you one. I don't mean to have you be a whipping boy. We all know that the only shitty thing associated with that record label is Chris Kelly and a stupid face. You're straight up like the man, dude. My bad. Sorry, Dan.
But yeah, there is a lot of inventive leads that are not excessively pulling you away from how great the songs are. There's rad like punk aggression, but it's so tuneful at the same time, just the same way Blitz were able to capture that. This is a long LP, and I want to put it on again when it's done. That's the ultimate compliment for anything in this genre of music, where some of these songs are 3 to 4 minutes long, and I still want to listen to the whole thing again. It's absolutely incredible. It's for anyone who is, looking for something new. Like, check this out. You're gonna love it.
Hey,
absolutely love it.
Y'all got ears or what? This is for you.
Yeah, for real.
Ben, what's your take on this?
Yeah, this band is from Brest, and when I was a kid, I used to always get a chuckle out of the fact that there's a town called Brest. Because
Zack still gets a chuckle out of it, and he says they're my breasts, which is a sore subject.
It says Dan, right?
Yeah, it says "dans," which means in, but it does say "dans" if you're reading it.
Okay.
Dan's breasts.
And unfortunately, I'll admit I slightly do have breasts.
No, dude, it's like, it's a fat joke, but it's like, I'm one of you, so it's on, dude. Right?
Right. It's like, yeah, you can say racial slurs if you belong to that racial group. Sure, we know that rule.
I mean, me and Dan look almost alike,
Like, stunning.
It's amazing. I showed a picture of you two to my girlfriend yesterday, and I said, they look like twins, don't they? And she goes, they definitely look like brothers. I don't know if they look like twins. And I said, they didn't used to look the same. I don't remember them
I'm
looking
the
the same.
Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the Danny DeVito.
Let's be real. Dan is way older. You know, I'm an 80s baby. You know, January 1980. What's up? I ain't old as shit. 1970s babies. Fucking one toe in the grave.
That's right.
Fucking old as shit.
Ouch.
Syndrome 81. Catchy, chorusy, anthemic, melodic punk music with what sounds like a terrifying French skinhead shouting vocals in French over this catchy, chorusy, anthemic, melodic punk music. Oh well, I should be happy that 3/4 of this rules. Helen from the Violators, we need you.
You know, Ben ranks it above negative approach, but below tiebreak. Joe, you got a take?
No, this is below negative approach.
Yeah, so I noticed the artwork. That's the first thing that grabbed my attention. I really love this cover.
Canceled.
Yeah, you think so?
No.
It's got the like this crying tears thing that turns into this river. I don't know. It's super
is
cool.
really cool art.
And the colors that they chose are like really cool. Like all that. We've been in the middle of deciding for the Auto Trust record, so I'm looking at album covers in detail these past couple of days.
Almost
so,
has a little Art Deco vibe to it.
and
too.
that was the other thing. That was the next thing I was going to say. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No. We just agree a lot on this stuff. So yeah. The intro guitar riff. After this is the last thing I listened to on the list, and so when the guitar intro starts on that first song, I'm like, oh, this is totally different. So I was really happy that there was just some variety. I liked all the other stuff we listened to, but I was trying to figure out the lyrics listening to them. I'm like, what? I don't understand anything he's saying. And then later on, I looked up that they were French. I'm like, oh, well, that's why. Okay. Usually I can't pick out lyrics anyway, but like this was like I couldn't pick out anything.
You didn't understand the line about Dan's titties?
C'est magnifique.
Yeah. Voulez-vous coucher avec moi? That's all I know.
That was good.
Yeah. Yeah. And like Dan said, like I listened to this. I wanted to listen to it again and again and again. So this has got the most play for me out of everything that we've listened to that we talked about on this pod. It was really good.
Yeah, this thing rules. Okay, everyone, we're at over 2 hours. We're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for the support since this podcast started. This is episode 185, and that rules. Thank you for getting us here. And number one, thank you to the Patreons. Put your money where your mouth is. Much appreciated. Just so everyone knows, $1 gets behind the paywall. And next week, we do not have a regular episode. We are starting to go every other week. So that is what's up. But there will be a Patreon. So if you miss the sound of Dan's voice that much, smash that Patreon button, and for this we'll wrap this up, and we're gonna finish the questions over there. But we appreciate your support. Dan, any last words?
Just thank you to anyone who participates in the 185 conversations when we post things on Instagram/Facebook, and we pose you lot a question. It is so endearing and rounds out the entire process or meaning of why we do this, because it is talking about the thing we love, which is punk rock and hardcore. And the fact that you participate, have opinions, call us out, yell at us, or just bring something to the table, add a question, like talk about a record. We fucking love that stuff. So keep it up. We love you.
Yeah, I mean, almost every single record that's on the list today that we talked about is all like user submitted, or friends of us submitted. That's how we discover shit, right? We're lucky that we have a big enough network that people say, hey, have you heard this? You got to hear this. Ben, final words.
Congratulations, Zack Nelson, on 185 episodes of 185 Miles South. And congratulations to all the regulars on the show, Dan especially, and, Joe and Anthony Papalardo and Posy Chris, et cetera, et cetera. Clevo, of course.
Steph.
Stu.
Been a minute for Stu.
Yeah.
And shout out to Posy Chris for not being able to be here to talk Syndrome 81, which he loves even more than I love it, I think.
Yeah, we did 185 episodes, one a week. You know, we never missed a week. It's pretty wild. Joe was episode 1. Joe, closing thoughts for this week?
Thanks for having me back. It's been a minute. Life is in session, so couldn't make them. Some of the ones you guys asked me to do, but I'm really glad to be here. I'm really glad to Bert for opening his home to us to let us do this. I'm glad to the chickens over here and the duck and the parakeets or whatever those are. Yeah, those are parakeets.
Shout out to the Costa Rican people for making us feel so well.
Shout out to all these toucans.
We're here at San Diego Zoo, and
What was her name? Joan someone?
Goodall?
No, that's Jane Goodall with
that's
the
Jane,
gorilla. Joan someone. She was always on David Letterman with people,
I don't remember.
animals from the San Diego Zoo, right? Anyway,
Okay, boomer.
But I'm really proud of you, Zach, and the whole team making 185. I know you've wanted to call it quits multiple times, and it's actually more than 185 episodes because there's all the Patreons too. It's probably 220 or somewhere in there, 230. I meant to count them up, but then I lost track. So
If we went to the Patreon section of the website, they're all numbered, so
yeah,
we could find out pretty quick.
yeah. Somebody do that and then post on Instagram.
Ben will do it.
Yeah.
My phone's gonna die, otherwise I'd do it right now. But anyway, yeah, thanks Dan and Ben for carrying the weight a lot of times. I appreciate it. I love you as much as I hate you, so that's cool.
Shout out to Ben for rolling with the punches and that they come thick and fast often. I catch my own amount of flack, but yeah, I slide under the radar a
But
little
that's the
bit.
greatest gift of 185. Ben learned how to take a joke in the last couple years.
That's true.
It was like a serious life thing that happened to Ben. He's like, oh, I just got to learn how to let it roll off me, and then people really like me. It's true. You know what I mean? It's like all I had to do all this time was take a joke, and everyone's gonna love me.
Ben, this
true.
is your life.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we should say that. Shout out to episode 149.5. Hell yeah.
184.5. Shout out to COVID Brain. Shout out to the listeners.
God, dude, it's real.
Shout out to episode 1 for coming all the way from Oxnard to record this. What a legend. And yeah, thanks again to Bert from, opening his home and the animals, providing some extra color commentary on the pod.
Noodles.
Yeah, shout out to Smelly. Shout out to Noodles.
Come on.
Shout out to
Squirrel.
Johnny Condom.
Squirrel.
Squirrel from Billingsgate. And shout out Bert. Everyone, if you enjoyed this episode, buy a record from Safe Inside Records.
Yeah.
And to support Bert and Aaron Cooley, my suggestion for the Battle Royal. Those are the two guys that run Safe Inside. So what's up, Ham on Business? Dan, where can people find you?
On Instagram at Southport Instagrammer.
Ben, where can people find you?
On Instagram at Cold Chillin' Book.
Joe, where can the people find you?
On Instagram at Burning Joe.
All right, everyone, if my COVID brain doesn't fail me, you can get in touch with me 185 miles south at gmail.com. That is the best way to get a hold of me. I respond to everything. Also, 185 miles south on Instagram and Twitter. That is a fine way to get a hold of me. Maybe the DMs get a little wonky. I might not get back to you, but whatever's easiest for you. Also, personally, I'm Zack Retaliate on Instagram, and Retaliate is the best on Instagram. Yo, get that 90s cred up. Order that Retaliate CD. Handle business. Y'all know what's up. And we'll talk to you on Patreon next week, and we'll talk to everyone else in 2 weeks. Talk to you soon.